Is the Indian EV really made in India, or are we just assembling Chinese components?
So many core components like battery cells, control cards, power modules, we are still importing from China and other countries.
India sold 2.3 million EVs in 2025. That's 8% of all the vehicles registered in that year. So, is this the hype or is this the reality?
8% sounds small, but you can see the growth. We are growing 16% year on year.
But the adoption rate in the car segment is under 5%.
So there are majorly three reasons. One is
So, what do you think? Is Make in India actually working for hardware?
it's working better than the people give it credit for, right?
So, why do you think Indian EVs are catching fire?
This is not about products, but I think it's all about.
So, you think the industry is getting safer
If you can talk about 10 years ago, it was impossible, but today we are ready.
5 years from now? Can you give me one prediction about Indian EVs?
All right. So I have three predictions.
Tesla or Tata?
Tata for India, Tesla is just for headlines.
One non-negotiable in Bacancy Systems for hiring. India sold 2.3 million electric vehicles in 2025. That's 8% of every vehicle registered last year. And here's the part nobody talks about. That 60% of the parts that goes into those EVs are still imported, mostly from China. At the same time, EV fires made headlines almost every month, because of which customers stopped trusting the batteries. So here's the real question. Can India own its EV revolution? And honestly, nobody's better to answer this than someone who is actually building Indian EV brains. Today, I'm sitting down with CEO and co-founder of Bacancy Systems, Mr. Binal Patel. He has over 2 decades of experience in this industry and 5+ years of experience in scaling Bacancy Systems in EV industry, railways, and other sectors. He has built a team of 150+ engineers, 2 manufacturing facilities in Ahmedabad, and 35 global OEM tie-ups, and won 3 national EV awards. Just last month, his company closed a 40 crore Series A round. So, Mr. Binal Patel, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Avni. It's glad to be here.
Let me start with the most uncomfortable question in the EV industry right now. Is the Indian EV really made in India, or are we just assembling Chinese components?
Honestly speaking, not everything that we are assembling, but so many core components like battery cells, control cards, power modules, we are still importing from China and other countries. So that's not the permanent state of manufacturing. So many countries, right, have been through this stage. Like Japan was in 70s, South Korea was in 80s. I think China was in 2000. So the real question is, it's not bad that we are importing from other countries. The major important thing is like, are we ready for tomorrow? And that's where vacancy system comes in. We are having that mission.
Wow, we will circle back to that. But first, I want to rewind that you started as a developer in 2007, co-founded Bacancy in 2012, and now you're running a EV hardware company. That's two different worlds. So why the pivot and how did it all start?
So if I go back, I did my computer engineering, worked as a developer for a couple of companies, and then I started my journey into a foreign country like Canada. When I shifted there, I have seen the lot of companies are product focused. They're working on engineering innovations. So when I came back in 2019, obviously software is the industry that we have scaled, but I was having some intention to diversify that business, and that's how we started Vacancy System in 2021 with two more co-founders, Kronal and Hardik, to engineer the products in-house, which is ready for global market.
Wow, that was a bold move. But what was your biggest lesson from this transition?
So while I was running a software company, I mean, you can build the software at 80% and then you can ship, right? And then the market will tell you another 20%. But when you build hardwares specifically for the industries like railways, we're building core components, which is the vital like braking systems, right? Which cannot be failed. So you have to be 100% right. So we have to have a people who have that product mindset, who have a engineering basics like physics, right? Where they kind of test the each and every corner cases before ship the product to the market.
So let's come back to my initial question that India sold 2.3 million EVs in 2025, and that's 8% of all the vehicles registered in that year. So is this the hype or is this the reality?
This is real, and you can say that we are still in the first chapter. 8% sounds small, but you can see the growth. We are growing 16% year on year. Last year we sold about 1.2 million two-wheelers, and a lot of cities like Bangalore and Delhi, they're adopting new vehicle in three-wheelers. In fact, is electric. Delhi recently released a policy where by 2027 they want every two-wheeler and three-wheeler has to be electric. So the shift is not coming, it's here. And I cannot say that it's good or bad, but due to the war situations, Iran and oil crisis, I think the trust is getting there and we are at the inflation point.
Okay, but the adoption rate in the car segment is under 5%. Why is that, you think?
So there are majorly three reasons. One is range anxiety, one is charging anxiety, and then the third one, which is resale anxiety. The first two will be solved by, let's say, better batteries and more charges in the field. But the third one, which is all about trust, and trust takes years, and so many OEMs or like car manufacturers, they are coming up with the buyback option recently, where the customers are getting trust.
So, what do you think? Is Make in India actually working for hardware?
Yeah, it's working better than the people give it credit for, right? In fact, Indian government and our honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi have a vision that by 2030 India will be electric. They have placed a lot of policies like PLI schemes are there, FAME 2 subsidies are there for OEMs to help out. GSTs also got dropped from 12% to 5% for the EV, right? But the policy doesn't manufacture chips, right? We already have some manufacturing plants that is in place, but we still don't have a manufacturing plant for the semiconductors. So we still import 90% of the semiconductors from China and other countries. So the vision is there, but this will still take about a decade, for getting there, and we need a focus investment for the same.
Right. Okay. So, my question is that India has around 29,000 EV chargers as of December 2025. Many of them who own EV will tell you that half of them don't work. Right. So, what's going wrong over there?
So there are three major problems, right? One is that a lot of components in the chargers are imported. Second thing is that there is bad design or you are not doing a proper maintenance of that charger, and the third is no local support. So in India, if you see the diversity in the environment, or you can say the weather is so different, and India is a dusty environment as well. So the charger which is made outside of India, which is built for some other weather conditions, when you import that here, they are not tested properly. They are not validated in the same conditions what we have here. So that is a major problem where Indian companies are having, or basically you can say they are facing those challenges.
Then, what do you think is the solution for this?
So the solution resides in the problems, right? So I can tell how Bacancy system is solving those problems. So the first problem is imported components, right? So Bacancy system have started designing and manufacturing most of their components, and today we share, let's say, 60 to 70% of those components proudly manufactured in India. So that is where we have tested and validated those products in the different weather conditions, so that way the charger have a less probability of getting failed. The second problem where the design and maintenance, right? So where what we do as a backend system, we help our customers to design or assemble the chargers in a proper way. So in fact, give them a training for them as well as their employees, and we make sure that the quality is intact. And then for the maintenance, we also ask them like how to do the thermal management and some basic things, right? So that way, in the different weather conditions, it doesn't fail. For the local support, right, we have a 24 hours of SLA where any ticket comes in, we respond in 24 hours. And any product replacements or let's say if anything goes wrong, we have a 1 week of lead time, versus if you have imported like components, it will take about 6 to 8 weeks. So that's where the charges will be down for next 6 to 8 weeks, where customer will be facing more problems.
But another problem which India is facing is, I think I'm sure you know, that EV fires, and customers are really scared about that. So if you can be brutally honest, why do you think India is, Indian EVs are catching fire?
So see, again, this is not about products, but I think it's all about doing a proper thermal management in the ecosystem. When you are using a very core component of batteries, where the battery cell assembly has been done properly, you have use a quality cells in the battery, as well as you have put the right quality BMS on top of that. So BMS is also a vital part, right, where it connects to battery cells, and it also makes sure that there is no thermal runaway, right? So if there is a thermal runaway, the battery will be exploding, right? So that's where I think the OEMs are now basically having more proper alignment, and they're working hard on making sure they have quality products.
So you think the industry is getting safer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, every industry has a learning curve, right? And India has been passed through that. And I think we have a lot of industry standards that are in place. Like for BMS, there is a standard called AIS 156 is there. And in fact, Bacancy System has also developed one BMS, which was AIS 156 certified. And we have a smart solution basically on top of that, which basically collects all the data from battery, put it on the cloud, and we have kind of an proprietary solutions where we can do have 360-degree solutions given back to the OEM, so they can maintain the battery. They can see what is going wrong, and then also they can cover the warranty against that as well.
Okay, so what I know is that Bacancy System has around 35 OEM tie-ups globally, which means you're not just supplying in India, but you're exporting. So what's it like, selling Indian-made EV components to the world?
So if you can talk about 10 years ago, it was impossible, but today we are ready. So when we go back, so Indian companies were tagged with like cheap and unreliable, components, versus our products today are getting assembled in Europe. Our chargers are getting installed in Middle East. So we are global. So the Indian engineering going globally, and it is being recognized by the customers.
So what is, you have recently closed a round of 40 crore Series A. What does that change for Vacancy Systems?
So it is an obviously an grateful moment, and this fundraise we have done for three major things. One is a manufacturing expansions we are doing. We are opening up a new product lines, and we are going to have more products R&D that we will be doing in the company, and we are going to expand our sales as well. So it is more than a cash, it's a validation that happens in the industry, that investor is backing us, and they are putting trust on us, so which matters more than the cash.
Okay, it's 2030, 5 years from now. Can you give me one prediction about Indian EVs?
All right, so I have three predictions. The first one, basically, where India will be having 30 to 40% electric cars, where we are 8% today, and we will be similar like China. The second prediction what I have is that the India will become the net exporter of EV components because of quality, and it will be recognized by global companies. And the third, which is most important, aligning with two, is that we also have to expand our charging infrastructures, because today if you see there are only 29,000 chargers installed, versus it has to be about more than 300,000, which, where if you can talk about ratio, we are about 1 gem 2.9 something. It has to be 1 gem 6. So that's where also I think we have to focus on.
Right, that's a great vision for India. What about Vacancy Systems in 2030?
Now, that's a good question. So we have a lot of visions. I think the first most important thing is that we have to expand our R&D team. So we are hoping we will be about 500 plus engineers by 2030. We are also going to expand our manufacturing. So we'll be having, let's say, third manufacturing plant. And vacancy system, if you see, we are a tech company, so we are horizontally scaling. So today we are serving for EV mobility and railways. Tomorrow we also have a plans for going into the defense, healthcare, and other sectors.
Wow, glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's play one small fun rapid fire game if you're ready.
Sure.
Okay, first question, AC or DC?
DC for fast, AC for home, so both wins.
Right. Battery swap or fast charging?
Fast charging, of course. Battery swap is basically a bridge, but not the destination.
Okay, lithium ion or sodium ion?
Lithium ion today, but sodium ion maybe for next 5 years.
Okay, Tesla or Tata?
Tata for India, Tesla is just for headlines.
Next, software or hardware?
I think both, because both are crucial.
Okay, and one non negotiable in vacancy systems for hiring.
Product mindset.
Okay, great. So, engineers, founders, and students are watching you right now. So, any one piece of advice you want to give them who want to build their career in hardware and EV sector?
So I think the most crucial part is that don't chase fast. I think I come from a software background. So I have worked for companies and I build products, right? Sometimes it is built in 5 months or maybe 5 years as well. But hardwares are different, right? When we started working, right? So we kind of experienced that crucial components like traction controllers we are doing for railways, auxiliary controllers, right? So it takes about 3 to 5 years, right? Design, validation, testing, and go to market. So sometimes the products are taking 5 years to 10 years when the industry will recognize it, right? And the companies will validate them to the market. So if you want to work with industries like EV mobility or semiconductors or robotics, right? Fall in love with it, right? Build a passion around it. So that will give you, a edge to work in this industry and create an innovation for these products.
Wow, that was a great takeaway, I think, for our audience. And thank you so much, Mr. Vinil, for your time. And it was most realistic conversation which we had today.
Oh, thank you so much, Avni. I really enjoyed it.
That's it for today's podcast. If you've enjoyed it, then do share with your engineering circle and do let us know your biggest takeaway from this podcast in the comments.